Totally agree with that quote right there. When you become better at things, everything around you is just simply affected and then everything becomes better as well. Welcome to the conversation on TOS Television Network, your digital first Pan African news network, and we're reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. My name is Adesu Alsui.
And my name is Merciful Ajinamo. Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation. Hope you're doing well, Adesu.
I am, thank you. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. All right, before we bring you the big story, let's just go across some development across Africa, of course. We begin from Ethiopia, where the Deputy Prime Minister takes charge as Prime Minister Abiy goes to war's front lines. The Deputy Prime Minister Demeke Mekonnen Hassan will take charge of routine government business in Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's absence, who has gone to direct the war effort from the front lines, state-affiliated media reported on Wednesday. And now at least 5 people were killed and 23 others were injured after a huge explosion rocked Somalia's capital Mogadishu early on Thursday amid gunfire, officials say. And now to Libya, where the elections panel declares Gaddafi's son ineligible to run for presidency. Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, the son of Libya's former ruler and the major candidate in December's planned presidential election, has been declared by the country's Elections Commission on Wednesday as being ineligible to run, compounding the turmoil surrounding the vote.
Well, I think I saw that one coming. I didn't know that there was. I mean, it had generated a lot of controversy. Him wanting to run for president. He's on, I think, wanted list across international wanted list as well as locally as well. And then there were lots of things that he had done.
Would he go on? He not go on questions and everything.
When it was. So I just knew that was going to become. And then another thing is I want to comment. Ethiopia's prime minister
going to the war front. Is that what you say?
You would hardly see that. So it's for me. I don't know how dangerous that is.
Leadership by example is what people say.
It's having to take the security and the lives of his people personally and say, look, to secure the lives of my people, even if it costs me having to go there myself and then do things. I don't know, fight or just direct or just give orders, but the security of Ethiopia being secured at this point is paramount to him, and I think it's just been proud.
On a lighter note, I think you do not want to fight in a war.
I do not want to fight in a war. All right, that's it for development across Africa here on the conversation. But before we go on, I bring you COVID-19 updates from across Africa and then straight into the big story.
It is the conversation showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. And as always, is the time I will say you have to be a part of our social media community. Follow us across all our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at TOS TV Network. And of course, our website is there so you can stay updated on happenings in Nigeria and of course across Africa. It's the big story segment, the crux of the conversation, and this time our focus is Labour rejects proposed petrol price hike by government. Joining us via the telephone this time is Dr. Moses Paul, an environmentalist. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning to you. The Nigeria Labour Congress President Ayuba Waba yesterday rejected the proposed price hike of petrol to 340 naira per litre, and of course it's coming just after the NNPCL Group Managing Director said on Tuesday that petrol will sell between 320 naira and 340 naira per litre next year February. What's your reaction to this story?
I'm trying very hard to understand this regime. On one hand, I am not against subsidy removal per se, given other things that I'm going to also explain as a perspective. But I'm trying to make sense of what this regime is trying to do, because currently the subsidy is costing the nation about 1.5 trillion naira, over 1.5 trillion naira every year. However, this government plans to give out 5,000 naira to each 40 million Nigerians, in quote, the poorest of the poor, like they say, who are based on the world, on the report that was given by the World Bank. This set of people are not even affected by the subsidy based on the report. It's a big report, and I think it's a discussion for even another day. So my point here is I am quite concerned about how a government will, how did they come about this, that they're trying to hand out over 2.4 trillion naira as against 1.5 trillion subsidy fund. I'm trying so hard to understand how they are able to justify these savings, because it defies every sense of logic. And I'm wondering, how did we get to this point? How about building more rails? How about building more roads and making our roads motorable and accessible? How about funding the insecurity situation that has beclouded every sense of our existence in Nigeria? So this is my perception. It makes no sense, and it makes the subsidy removal very unjustifiable and very fraudulent, because 1.5 as against 2.4 makes absolutely no sense.
Okay, so to be clear, if I get you clear, you're saying that they could actually go ahead to remove subsidy because it's costing the country so much, but having to now pay 5,000 naira, as transport grant to, poor Nigerians is not the way to go.
It doesn't make any sense. 40 million Nigerians getting 5,000 naira comes down to 2.4 trillion. Currently, the subsidy is costing us 1.5 trillion. So if you look at it, it's not about the subsidy removal. It makes absolutely no sense at all to even think of removing it if that is the plan of the government. This is the point I'm making.
Okay.
If the point is to make plans to alleviate the poverty through industrialization, or through making our roads and accessible and coiling and funding even the insecurity problems that we have, the security agencies, recruiting more people, it makes sense. On the grounds of trying to remove the subsidy, it absolutely makes no sense at all. It makes no sense.
Okay, so Mr. Moses, some Nigerians are of the opinion that an alternative towards spending money, if the federal government wants to spend, is to create transport vehicles, buy them so we can move people from one point to another, because those are the people that are affected by the subsidy removal the most. But what's your reaction to that point from Nigerians?
To attend to this question, I am always about this. First and foremost, this regime lacks the economic policy is completely zilch. They do not have managers that will even attend to the problems that we have. And like I said clearly, you can check this out from the World Bank report that was given, even as part of the 7 items that they expect President Muhammadu Buhari and this regime to attend to as we go into 2022. They stated there very clearly that these 40 million Nigerians are not even affected by the subsidy removal, because they do not even belong to the class of people who use the PMS and all the petroleum product. So yes, if you look at it, it will make sense. Like, I agree with what suggestions other people have made in terms of making more rail lines available, making our roads motorable. Of course, if you have to bring in buses, like it's done all over the world, to allow for the alleviation of this. But my point still remains that if you look at the plans that this regime have, in terms of the handout that they have, they're just trying to create a loophole to loot, to steal, and to raise funds for the 2023 elections, and nothing more than that, because even without the subsidy removal, Nigeria can still do very much well. We can still increase on all the other options that are being given from every sense of the word, because 2.4 trillion does not in any way compare to 1.5 trillion. This is the maths, and it can be understood by anybody on the street. So it makes absolutely no sense. We should still, as a matter of priority, go ahead with all the other suggestions that have been made to allow for the alleviation of poverty and also to help the expanding of our economy without even the subsidy removal. This is my point, and this is where I stand.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Moses, for staying on the line for us on the conversation this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, viewers, for staying tuned to the conversation showing on your digital first Pan-African news network. As always, I will say you are amazing if you're not a part of our social media community. Again, my name is Merciful Ajunomo, and thank you so much for joining us.
And mine is Adesu. I'll see you. Thank you again, and please join us again tomorrow.